Alright, listen, I like Pixar. I think they've made some really great films in the past, and I want to see them succeed, but as you guys probably know, Pixar has really been on the downfall with their films lately. Lightyear was a disaster in movie form and in the box office, and Elemental had Pixar's worst opening debut in theaters, and while that movie was able to come back and make some money, that movie was just okay in my opinion. And then you have Pixar sequels. Now, don't get me wrong, Pixar's made some really great sequels over their time, and in fact, currently, my favorite Pixar movie is a sequel, being Toy Story 3, and I think that Toy Story 2 is great, and yes, I also like Toy Story 4, and I think it has a purpose in the Toy Story franchise. And then also among Pixar sequels, you have Finding Dory and The Incredibles 2, and I think Finding Dory is cute, like, I don't really have a problem with it, it was okay, I guess, but I did not like Incredibles 2, like, I know a lot of people did like that movie, but I did not. And so now of Inside Out 2 finally here and joining Pixar sequels, I made sure that my expectations were pretty low because this movie did end up being terrible. I didn't want to come out like super disappointed or anything, so I did make sure I had my expectations at a reasonable point, and this movie exceeded my expectation. It was better than what I thought it would be. It does everything a good sequel should do, like expand the world that the first film created, and also doing a couple things better than what the first film did. I think this movie did a really great job at making what's happening in Riley's life really intriguing, and then you're never really wanting to go back to headquarters literally the entire time. And as you probably know from the trailers, this movie adds some new emotions, and I think that all of them were pretty well needed for the most part, and they all have a purpose. And the thing that I think this movie does really well is that they make Anxiety very likable for a villain, because she isn't purposely trying to hurt Riley, she's just trying to help her, and you feel bad for her, and in the end you want her to understand that what she's trying to do isn't what Riley needs and that she's actually harming her. And I think the movie did a really great job at doing that. Another thing I really liked about this movie is the way that it was paced. Like, seriously, this is such a greatly paced film. Like, it doesn't feel like it goes on for too long, and it doesn't feel like it's too short. It's just good. I think the first opening minutes of this movie really introduces everything that this movie was going to add extremely well. And then, as expected, this movie has really great looking animation. Like, there's this one scene where the animation looks so nice, and like, just from that shot, it really reminded me of how far animation has come and how far Pixar has come since making Toy Story all those years ago. Now, some of the stuff that I did not like in this movie was how they just completely forgot about Fear. Like, seriously, he was not in this movie as near as much as he was in the first one, and I guess you understand why, because the writers wanted to give Anxiety a really big role in this film, and Fear and Anxiety are pretty much the same thing, so you understand what the writers were doing here, but still, I would have loved more Fear in this movie, but I'll let it slide. Something else that this movie did that was kind of frustrating to me is that they introduced these 3 new characters, and the one that I liked the most out of the 3 never comes back in this movie, and that's kind of sad because this specific character, and if you've seen this movie, then you know who I'm talking about, really has some potential to be a really great and funny character, but he just doesn't appear again, and that was something that the movie didn't really take advantage of. And then, to be honest, those 2 are really my only nitpicks for this movie. This movie just does so many things right when it comes to making a good sequel, and it's something that you don't really see too often. And this movie really does show that Pixar still does have the capability of making great movies, and I hope that this is the beginning of something great for this company.